The Nomiki Show.
Accountability. That is the word we need to keep repeating along with the name of George Floyd. Yesterday's guilty verdict, three counts guilty, was an important step down the path of accountability. A police officer convicted of murdering a Black man. This should not be the rarity, but it is. As dramatic and welcome as this verdict is, it is only the first part of the accountability in the case of George Floyd. And ultimately, also just the beginning of our larger movement to end the racist violence by police that has infected our country for generations. Many stars aligned to produce the conviction of Derek Chauvin. And it is important to keep this clear as we press to make this the norm in holding police to account and not the exception that lets everyone else get off the hook. Most cases are way harder than this one. Most police get let off. Most don't even get convicted. Most keep their jobs. Most keep their severance. Many cases of police violence involve split-second decisions in which the officers claim, per recommendation, that they felt threatened. But here George Floyd was subdued, and then for 9 agonizing minutes, Derek Chauvin crushed his knees into Floyd's neck. In so many cases, it is the word of the police officers against the word of some witnesses, usually Black or brown, but not in this case. In this case, a brave teenager recorded the entire horrifying event on her phone. And in many cases, the prosecutors would rather the case go away. But here in Minnesota, the Attorney General, the state's first Attorney General of color, spared no effort or expense to mount an effective prosecution. We know who his name is. It is Keith Ellison. In many cases, cops stand together behind their thin blue line. But here, even law enforcement witnesses, including the police chief, testified for the prosecution. In other words, there is still a real danger that this case will become an exception. While in most cases, police continue to escape accountability for excessive force, reckless use of their weapons, and inhumane treatment of human beings in their custody. So there is much more to do, and one piece of what needs to be done, and this is very, 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 very important, is about the case of George Floyd. This case is not over. Let me repeat that. This case is not over. There were 3 other Minneapolis officers on the scene that horrible day. They watched Derek Chauvin murder George Floyd. They failed to intervene during the 9 minutes as people were calling and screaming from the streets, as he was screaming that he could not breathe, that he wanted his mother. If we are going to change policing in America, we must hold these 3 officers to account every bit as much as we are holding Derek Chauvin to account. This is the core challenge to change police culture. Derek Chauvin was not a rogue officer. He was a senior officer, a training officer. He murdered George Floyd because his colleagues and the culture of policing let him. They are responsible too, and they must be held responsible. If prosecutors fail to do that, then this case really will be the exception and actually strengthens the rule of racist police culture. But the prosecutors now make clear this was not a case of one bad cop, but a case of racist police culture. The blinders have been taken off for a good chunk of America. If we are debating the messaging of defund the police, then that is a sign that we are shifting, but we cannot let up. As Ben Dixon said on our show yesterday, quote, "It takes so much to get so little in this country." So to every person of color who has been murdered, beaten, harassed, all by law enforcement, and to every family member affected by our racist policing, we cannot let up. There needs to be more. Allies need to stick to it. Support and the pressure cannot be let up.
Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube, and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on thenomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.